Shout out to the Mailroom Nation. Shout out to the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Post, man. You see, I got my TMC. Hey, there it is there, man. How you guys doing? Click the notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. And continue to follow this dope content. Continue to follow this dope content. Press them thumbs up. Get the algorithms to going. It's a must. It's Mando. But let's get to the intro. Shout out to the old Postmaster General. Shout out to Mike Marks XL. Again, name change. Name change, Mike. What's the name changes? Shout out to you.
Yo, Melly Man, what's up? From BX to you a later fam. It's your man. What's up? This is for the gangsters. Shout out to the gangsters. Postman posted with them gangsters. My homies be on gang time. All my homies throwing gang signs. I keep it real, I cannot fake mines. This is for the gangsters. Shout out to the gangsters. Postman posted with them gangsters. My homies be on gang time. All my homies throwing gang signs. I keep it real, I cannot fake mines. You know the vibe. If you gon' tell a gangster story, need to let a gangster tell it. And for the record, a gangster ain't never telling. A gangster gon' keep his mouth closed and die felon. 10 toes down, lace up your chucks and grab your weapon. I'm reppin' for my section. My mom big steppin'. Hype gang if he visit the turf and he ain't checkin'. He ain't gang, he just riding the wave. Another cow about to find him a grave. It's 10 again. This is for the gangsters. Shout out to the gangsters. Postman posted with them gangsters. My homies be on gang time. All my homies throwing gang signs. I keep it real, I cannot fake mines. This is for the gangsters. Shout out to the gangsters. Postman posted with them gangsters. My homies be on gang time. All my homies throwing gang signs. I keep it real, I cannot fake mines. You know.
Shout out to the Mailroom Goon. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation. I am Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Post, man. You know the vibe. Today we have another special guest in the house. We got AKA Bry-Dee. He come to do the breakdown on this Wisdom Wednesday. But let me get to the wisdom, right? Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistent talent. Will not unreward genius. It's almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated fools. The world is full of them. Persistence and determination alone is omnipotent. Understand that persistence and determination alone is omnipotent. So always have that drive, that determination. Those are the things that get it. But first thing you should know about me, I'm not you. Now that we got that way, at the end, a lot more will make sense after that. A lot more will make sense after that. Always remember, jealousy can hide in compliments, envy can hide in support, and love can hide in hate. Just because they got it for you don't mean they're giving it to you. Keep that in mind. Today we got Bry-Dog. He come to get a breakdown. How you doing, Bry-Dee?
All right, what's up, man? What's up with you,
I've
man?
always wanted to call you Bry-Dog, man, but you know, Bright Dog, Bry-Dog, Bry-Dee.
Bry-Dee.
I'll be
No.
mixing your name up, man. It's almost like, I know it sounds like a remix to you, bro.
Yes, sir. But hey, I gotta say, cats that don't even know me X amount of years can call me Bry-Dog, and you one of them, But Bry-Dee suffice, but Bry-Dog with you will too, because it's urban
That's
real.
that's the new day. That's the new day, right? That's the new day now.
Yes.
Shout out to Stan. Shout out to Marlena Williams, the post manager, Mike King, Mike XL. LX. I mean, he extra large, bro. He extra large out there. Shout out to Michelle again. Shout out to Kansas City. I see you in there. Shout out to everybody that take out their day and time to join this chat and this discussion while I'll get a breakdown. So the breakdown, Bridal, let's get into it. What is the breakdown?
Okay, the breakdown is this, man. I had a conversation with a cat, and he wants to own the title of gang capital of the world, of the globe. So I'm telling the kid, the kid name was Bobby Boy Callow out of Chicago. Bobby Boy Callow. So I'm telling him, we don't really, us conscious brothers and us normal human beings, don't want the title of Los Angeles County as gang capital of the globe. So he wanted to have a pissing contest with me that Chicago, Cook County, is the gang capital of the globe. So if you want that title, you can
Uh-oh. Right out, kicked himself out. Hopefully get back. He probably got a phone call. Right in the middle of him doing what he's doing. Yeah, I don't want to take off on another subject and he popped back in. So we're entertaining for a minute. Shout out to you, Stan. There you go. There he popped out again. The marathon continues. The marathon continues, ladies and gentlemen. The marathon continues. Let me see where he's at. Okay. There we go.
I'm apologizing.
You must have got a phone call.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. That way it won't bounce you out.
I apologize to the artist. But what I was saying anyway, the guy, Bobby Boy Callow, he wanted that title. So I told him, you can have at it, but I'm going to break some statistics down to you. This is the statistic, man. We're going to start with Cook County. There are 55 gangs in Cook County, which encompasses one city, Chicago. There are approximately 117,000 gang members of the 55 gangs. Now let's touch Los Angeles County. There are 195 to 200 Crip gangs. There are 82 blood gangs. There are 112 Asian gangs. And there are 450 Southern California Hispanic gangs, which encompasses 300,000 gang members. And what people don't understand is you have places that are all solely East LA that encompasses all Hispanics. So they have all these different small gangs and what have not, and some large gangs. So you have 300,000 gang members in Los Angeles County. You have 55,000 gang members in Cook County. Do the math, man. And we don't want the stigma of the gang capital of the globe. This is something he wants. This is something he was fighting tooth and nail with me on social media. And I'm like, but dude, who gives a fat rat rear end? So I just had to break down that statistic.
So I mean, and then you find, Bry-Dee, you find people that still want to argue with the statistics, even when you provide them with the analysis and the data. They still want to try to wrestle with that, for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Sometimes, it's like that, man, and I get it. That's why I said, persistence and determination, but persistence and determination must have a positive attached to it, not a negative.
Like I tried to explain to a guy, we're going to use 2021, and in the 4 cities I'm about to name, 2022 is already on the verge of superseding the unfortunate that happened in 2021. Because these guys from Philadelphia act like Los Angeles County is just a city and a county that's just running amok on robberies and targeting out-of-town guys and stuff like that. Okay, well, let's go to the statistics of last year. We're going to go in Chicago. There were 797 homicides last year in Chicago. There were 3,561 shootings in Chicago. Now, in LA, there were 400 murders in comparison to Chicago's 797 last year. There were 1,459 documented shootings in comparison to their 3,561. So Chicago just superseded LA. Now we're going to use LA as a ground zero. In Philadelphia, there were 562 murders last year. And there were 2,327 documented shootings. That means hit their man last year. 562 murders in comparison to the 400 in Los Angeles County. Then in New York, there were 488 murders, 3,700 shootings. All 3 of those cities in violence, and 95% of the people were people of color that this was perpetrated against, superseded Los Angeles County. So how can you dare say that we sit up and target dudes? No, it's the lower income areas with the lower income bracket that these so-called rappers want to go to show their street cred to their buddies back home, that they get killed in. And condolences to the young man's family, PNB Rock. Condolences. But I'm going to tell your audience, man, why I won't go to the Waffle House, right? Over in that location, for a reason. Now, say I go over there And this is a true thing, audience that's not from California. And so one of the guys say, I'm always wearing Compton from head to toe. So he say, where you from, man? I'm like, I'm from Compton. Why? What's that? Why you got to say it like that? And that opens the door for a confrontation on something that's just stupidity. So why would I want to put myself in that position when I can go on Sunset or I can go to Inglewood with a Compton hat on and don't have to have 2 words from nobody? Other than, hello, sir, would you like a menu? And let alone, what the hell would I go with $100,000 worth of jewelry? Because now when I said I'm from Compton, why? What's happening? Now one of those guys could, and he think he all that. I'm going to take that shit. So
what's clear to me is our cities and states and our metropolitans where Black and Latinos dwell are in a crisis.
exactly.
And we should all be pulling together, banding together some type of way around the brothers that's willing. Because I keep hearing dudes refer to you the old ninja. How
Yeah.
does that? What is that? How does that make you feel when they do that? I mean, how do you deal with that part?
I just think it's such an ignorant thing because a lot of people make it to age and they say they're seasoned because whether they're foolish or not, they've learned through life experiences and through trial and error some type of knowledge to part to an individual who hasn't made it to that far in life. And I was always taught, remember how when we came up, the game was to be sold, not told? We would gravitate around those older dudes hoping that we can get some game.
Right. Shout out
Because
to GQ.
we recognize their life experiences. So I think it's just the dudes with the single digit IQ to say that because their comprehension level is that of a 2-year-old's. So a 2-year-old is going to spout and throw temper tantrums with terrible twos. And the only thing, well, I got to hurt him because I don't understand. So I'm going to say he's an old man. That doesn't hurt me. I take it as a compliment, to be honest. Just sometimes I have to turn the oven up sky high and roast them.
Let's delve into that for a minute. You say the single digit IQ. There had to be a start. There had to be a beginning to where, and what year would you place that in to best describe the single digit IQ? Because that's a mindset of its own, and that's a generation of individuals. And there was probably various reasons for why it occurred. I think around the crack era, that's when a lot of stuff started happening in our communities. And that was something that was done to us, not done for us. That was done to us. And how would you describe that? Give it a little more context to it.
Okay, I think what's making the generation bitter, right, is that you have 40-year-olds that were raised solely by grandparents, right? And so when the 40-year-old was raised by the grandparent, and now the 40-year-old is with a 20-year-old theirself, and their child now is 6, 7, 8 years old, a millennium, right? And the parent tries to slide back into the 40-year-old life, but the 40-year-old is rebellious, like, you ain't been here. So now the resentment comes from the 5, 6, 7-year-old millennium who sees his mother or father getting at their parent like that. And in their head, they start developing subliminally like, fuck them old motherfuckers. That's my analytical viewpoint on it. And so then you become rebellious and defiant in nature when you see someone that is actually giving you some game, if you can learn to read between the layers, the lines. But because you already have an instilled animosity towards anyone that's older by seeing your parent tell your grandparent, not your great-grandparent, you ain't been around here. What you coming around here for now? You should be around here little kid.
That's actually a sense of information malnutrition and being information poor, because just because you think something, that means that's
Right.
just going on inside your head. It probably don't exist nowhere else. We got a generation of dudes like that, that have absolutely no clue. They only know the square root or the square blocks of their circumference of which they travel through, whatever those blocks may be. And anything outside of that is like, it's almost like they all pigeonholed in the same community, whether it be Long Beach, Watts, Compton, whatever. They get pigeonholed into whatever that thought process is, or whoever set the precedence for how they carry it in that area.
And see, another thing, that, and you know, this is not bragging to your audience, and this is not, as they say, flossing. Okay, this is not high signing, as our generation would say. But Mel, you watch me come home after 18 years in prison. You know where I live at without any help from anyone. You know, in less than a year, I accomplished what most of these young dudes haven't been able to do in 10 years in society.
Right.
You know, I live in a very decent, somewhat upscale environment. You know, I bust my ass at 2 jobs. This is something you know. And so
Yeah, they have what you want. Yeah.
it would behoove a young dude to say, damn, homie, you did 18 years in the feds, didn't have help from no one when you came home, and you live where in Los Angeles County? Where I can get a sea breeze every morning at a decent beach? And so it would behoove him to say, well, if the old man could do that in less than a year, I need to try to slide up under the old man, because I've been out here for 10 years and I've been surviving off of his EDD money.
That's why
I'm
persistence
trying to take somebody's chain.
and Brian, that's where the persistent and determination alone are omnipotent, because you had persistent and determination. You wanted a certain place you wanted to live, you wanted a certain lifestyle you wanted to have. So you got out there and did what you had to do in order to have that. You know, people don't. You got these dudes that they got the hand me down or the palms up syndrome. You know, their palm is up,
Right.
but they want somebody to drop something in it.
Yeah. See, they don't understand the definition of I'm willing to accept a hand up, but not a handout. Okay. But if, you know, and then this really kills me about social media is everyone like, you're clout chasing, you're clickbaiting, you're this, that, and another. They throw all the slanderous things. But then I say, well, damn, on your channel, you run your Cash App about 1,000 times. What are you chasing? And I don't knock the donations, because sometimes I feel like this, as a man, I would like to compensate a dude that gives me, like, you have Wisdom Wednesdays, right? Sure, I would like my complimentary way would be to donate something to your Cash App, because you're taking the time out of your day to research something to uplift me and to give me that smile or that boost for the day where I may have been in the dumps. I get that, right? So I understand that. But I don't get when the dudes say, you know, you trying to live off YouTube, you trying to clickbait. I'm not getting a penny from YouTube. You the one got the Cash App up, partner, who's throwing them spears. So I say, don't put a spike in my eye and don't look at the spake in your own eye.
That part. So let me drop this clip, and I want you to tell me about this clip after you listen to it.
Okay.
Shut up, City Boy OG Bry-Dee, host of Realist. Hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification, and share button. I want to jump into the topic, and I'm not going to actually put a handle on the axe, because I'm going to let the axe answer for itself and put his own handle on it, and you'll understand what I'm saying. And there was a movie out called The Django, and they had a character named Steven, played by Samuel Jackson. Steven was a beast. Steven sided with the enemy. Steven sided with his master, and there wasn't nothing that somebody looked like him could do that could turn Steven against his master. So with that being said, I want to ask you questions that you want you to ask for yourself, some of you cats out there. Do I go against my people for people that cause my people derogatory words? If the answer is yes to that, you are a Steven. Do I take pictures with cats that are against my people and say negative things about my people? If the answer to that is yes, then you are a Steven. Do I call out my people on public platforms and not have necessarily arguments with my people, but try to tell my people don't do this and don't do that in defense of people that call my people slanderous words? If the answer is yes to that, then you are a Steven. See, do you stick up for your people and speak out on matters that pertain to your people if you have a platform and someone says something negative about your people? If you don't, then you are a Steven. Do you agree with your people, whether they right or wrong, but not necessarily agree and lose your individuality, but do you like, I don't have a comment on that? If you have a comment, then you are a Steven. Do you compromise your integrity, chasing a bag with those who have no love for your people as a whole? If you do compromise your integrity and chasing a bag, saying I got to get it by any means necessary, then you are a Stephen. See, there's too many Stevens running around. And you don't get it, man. In the end, Stephen lose. You see what happened to him in the jungle. He lost. And in his dying breath, he was defending that guy. See, if you're around a guy that is around a guy that says something negative about your culture and he don't say nothing, then he's what's called complicit. And you just compromise your integrity. If you don't speak up for certain issues that are going on with our people, and if you have a platform and you don't do it, then you are a Stephen. See, I'm not Stephen. I don't have no fears of speaking up, saying what I want to say, and I don't use platform for a paycheck. I don't use it for 1,000 subscribers. See, I don't need that. I use it to voice my opinion and to speak up for us as a people and to push you like that Stevens out the way who won't do it if you have a platform. See, like I said, you answer the questions to yourself and you can decipher. If you don't know what that means, you can become analytical of self and say, damn, am I Stephen? So answer that to yourselves. And if you are Stephen, it's a long way back, but we are a forgiving people and we will allow you back into the fold. Predicated on you defend us against anyone that's slandering anybody that looks like you on social media. So, Stephen, if you answered the wrong answers to the questions I asked, we will welcome you back, but you must earn it and prove yourself. On that note, it's the hub and the dub with neighborhood love to them, baby. Y'all know what that is. Compton, California, all the time.
The Steven syndrome, man. I call that the Steven syndrome.
Precisely.
How prevalent is that in our society or in our culture? How have the Steven syndrome taken root on the internet now? Now that you've been on the internet for a little while, what did you see and to come up with that analysis?
I seen when you have a man has a panel and they're speaking on Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is the national anthem, and which shall be sung now at football games. That man, panel members go like this. Look at my hand. I wouldn't dare listen to that. I won't be going to no football games no more. Take my son. What do they want next? And the guy that's hosting the panel doesn't say, wait, hold up, man. Do you know the servitude that gave this country? Do you know what your DNA consists of as part of those guys who that song is pertaining to? Do you know that those guys that song is pertaining to were at the border fighting for you, fought against Prop 187, fought against Prop 209, historically speaking? So when you have guys doing that on their panel, and then Stephen goes and get on those guys' shows and he hauls with them, would he know they've called us ghetto coons, they've called us the N-word, and they outright just talk scandalous about us as human beings, and you still go mess with them? Or when you follow one of them whose lyrics are horrific, even by today's standard and us being street people, then you are a Stephen. And Stevens that permeated the internet, now I can say what they are, for clout chasing, compromising their integrity and themselves for a monetary aspect from people who are using them in the chess game, saying, I got Sambo right here with me, so I can't hate you. I got Sambo. Don't I, Stephen? Tell him, Stephen, you with me. And Stephen like, yes, let's take a picture, boss. So those are Stevens, because they compromise us as a community. And it's like, man, people need to boycott the Stevens.
Right.
And like I said, the Stevens, you know who they are. And then people say, well, why don't you put a handle on the axe? I don't have to. I had Stephen do it to himself.
Bry-Dee, why was you so well respected in the Beaumont Penitentiary? Let's get off in some of that.
Well, for one, I recognize that I can get it. So I didn't walk around like I was, all that. Right? And I dealt with men. And I dealt with men on a level of when I, introduced myself and got to know me, and I didn't have an entourage of homies with me. I didn't throw my affiliations on my sleeve. I'm like, and we had talked, man, had a work ethic of working out. And if dudes need something, if a dude was hungry and needed a meal, I didn't have a problem giving you, a meat item and a soup. I just tell you, go spread your hustle, bro. I just dealt with men.
Why didn't they call it Bloody Bowman?
Well, see, everybody be thinking that USP, which is the United States prison, which is the maximum level, they thought that was the Bloody Bowman. No, it was the FCI, because dudes were getting it on a regular basis.
When you say dudes were getting it, what does that mean?
I mean, it was so bad that we couldn't wear boots to the recreational yard. Dudes were getting stumped out. Dudes were getting stabbed up. Dudes were getting... So, and every time a bus came, which new guys on the bus, somebody hit it. Because Steven just thought he can come out there, and they was waiting on Steven. When Steven got out there, they gave him what he wasn't looking for.
Explain to the people what is a paperwork party.
A paperwork party is literally, excuse me, I'd say, can you give me just 1 second? 1 second. I'm back. Are you here? Are you here? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were bring that up. This is what's called a paperwork party. This is called 15-cent transcripts. Tells everything about you. If you were a snitch or not. This is called an indictment. I have 3 of them. I was indicted 3 different times. This is called a plea agreement. That is a paperwork party. It says what you did, this is called the abstract judgment. So it tells everything about you. If you made statements, which I didn't.
So would that be like your access card if you belong to a country club? Your paperwork was your access club into the USP. Without it, you was pretty much you was done.
Yes. And
so could you go to a USP if you didn't have no paperwork?
You'd had approximately, I gave the homies 30 days, which was 45 working days, and I was being generous. But I wouldn't give you, meaning, care packages, because I said, I don't know what's up with you. And I would offer homies money if they didn't have money to send for their paperwork. So
why was it important to have the paperwork?
It's very important. It's extremely important, because a person can start mumbling about you, and then dudes can start plotting on you. See, with me, I have multiple co-defendants. And the reason to the audience that I have my paperwork is because I'm not like, I'll give you examples from YouTubers. Melly Mel, the Hood Postman. He's out in the streets. He interviewed dudes all over Los Angeles County. Crips, Blood, essays, whatever. Asians, Pacific Islanders. Melly Mel's out in the streets, solo bowling. You have a dude named Kev Mack. He goes everywhere. He's out in the streets. You have a dude named Gangster. He goes out in the street. You have a dude named Lil Crazo. He's out in the streets at Sadie Nash. I can keep going on. And they go everywhere. Myself. Oh, you have Asmo. He goes a lot of places too, and Rennie Loke. Myself and ODM Slim. Gosh, I got to stop because I keep going. So myself, every time you see me, I'm Compton head to toe. This is not on YouTube. Everyone that knows me knows I always have on a Compton hat and a Compton shirt, or a victory lap in a Compton shirt, or a victory lap shirt and a Compton hat. I like these clothing. So I'm in everyone's hood. I'm out in the streets, as the saying goes. So I carry my paperwork in my car because I had 6 co-defendants. And I don't need to hear nothing. We can stop all that. Here you go right here, buddy. That's some good reading. It's like an urban novel. So I carry my paperwork because I'm not institutionalized, but because I'm not in the streets any longer, I'm of the streets, but I frequent areas where there are dudes.
Guess he got another phone call. There you go. Did Melly ever run the yard? I was in Terminal Island, brother. I was at what they call quote unquote club fed. Go ahead, Bry.
Can you hear me,
Bry.
man?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what I was saying, I'm not in the streets, I'm of the streets, but I carry my paperwork because I go in a lot of different dudes' neighborhoods. And this is me.
Shout out to DC.
As far as my authenticity of staying solid, which is a rarity on a case, not making a statement, which is a rarity on a case, and I frequent other dudes' neighborhoods. But I had co-defendants that are rotten to the core. And I like to let dudes know that they were rotten to the core because I have documentation of it in here. You know, and that's staying, as you say, on code, staying true to the streets. So
is the street staying to what you believe in though? So because
no,
when after 18 years when you came back, it was different.
it's a horrific saying. You know, dude ain't no good. Well, he didn't tell on me. He getting money. What you think is gonna happen to you when y'all get caught, dummy?
He gonna tell.
He gonna tell. So yes, I may be a dinosaur in certain aspects, right? As the saying goes, or as the homegirl Big Red from Harlem say, "Hey, what's up, dinosaur? I love you, Red." But I can look myself in the mirror as a dinosaur and have no qualms about, you know, even though I engaged in a death style, as the homie Bodacious coined that phrase, I engaged in the subculture of gang activity for over 40 years. Nevertheless, I walked away with my integrity intact.
Right. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna add to this, and a lot of people may not. They may agree or disagree, but I want you guys to understand: all is fair in love. Because if all in war and love, if all wasn't fair in love and war, men wouldn't conquer other men, and men wouldn't conquer other lands. So when you see these people having these difficulties or these struggles and these back and forth, is this something that's in us as a people or in us as a culture that where we challenge one another on certain issues? You know what I mean? And I've been in the feds, and you know they did it where I was at. You know what I mean? There was, you know, people would come and they wouldn't come with no paperwork, man. But the only difference, nobody got stabbed. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
would just let them go walk up top. They call them, man, you got to take it up top. You know what I mean? And they had to take it up top because they paperwork right. You know what I mean? One guy, his paperwork was so bad, but he couldn't read. You know what I mean? So when he gave us the paperwork, he didn't realize that what was in the paperwork. And we read that paperwork and we all looked at each other and then we looked at him like, man, you had every opportunity in the world to just take your paperwork and run up top, you know, but he didn't know what was in it because he couldn't read, you know what I mean? And it just, I always think about that, you know what I mean? Shout out to Anthony Kennedy, bro. What's up with you, Herb? I always think about that, man, how some people just be so spaced out. They don't realize that they, you know, they had a 501k and explain to people what is a 501k.
501k is when you cooperate with the government against your co-defendants. A 501k is when you're willing to tell the truth on any and everything, which is snitching if you're in the street life. A 501k is where they may ask you about something that has nothing to do with your case. You know about it and know about it. That's part of see if you're telling the truth. The 501k is Anthony Alexis King, who's in my paperwork, who's Jason Matthew McDowell, who's in my sentencing scripts, call them government operating witnesses in addition. And so they were 501ers. That's what I call the 5K1s, you know. So that's why I carry my paperwork too. Because
Born in Compton, what do you mean justify deviant behavior? What does that mean? I want to know what you mean because I see you put that in the chat. Like I say, man, this been in the world since men been around. Men conquer other men conquer other lands. That's all is fair in love and war. Now, I don't know if you were referring to your text or your statement was in reference to what I was saying or what Bry-Dee without. Give me a little more clarity of what you mean. Please don't attempt to justify deviant behavior.
Okay, now, let me explain this about justifying deviant behavior. Well, you need to tell all the rappers to quit rapping. They damn sure justifying deviant behavior. Well, at least a high percentage of them. You need to tell all movie makers to quit making urban movies because they're justifying deviant behavior. We're just speaking to a targeted audience and letting them know what to expect on that death style that they're leading. See, a lot of people can't even discern the message. It's like I tell a person, who wants to be shot 8 times? Who wants to be beat up several times? Who wants to be jumped on several times? Who wants to be hit by cars multiple times and stabbed multiple times? You have to be a zip damn fool. But that is the lifestyle. That was my deviant behavior. So if I express my deviant behavior on social media, perhaps your nephew will say, I don't want to be like that dude.
What is now you might in the lows and the FCIs, you might find some cats fighting. But when you get to them USPs and the level 4s, there is no fighting. Tell them what's happening, Bry.
That's what it is. It is assault you with a prison-made weapon, or multiple guys jump on you to where you can't survive. It is 90% of the guys in those type of institutions have been told on. So they have strong hatred for the next man that told on a guy that they don't even know. So on the prison level, I think personally that if they had some type of uniform discipline in the communities and in the academic system where they still gave you SWATs, you'd have a uniform, not cyborgs or clones, but you'd have a uniform understanding of people of certain things you can do and don't do in society. But there's no what you call not consequences, but there's no accountability for a lot of things that go on. You know, it got to the point where mothers and fathers are going up to schools. You touch my son, I'm gonna beat your whoop-de-whoop to the principal, to the educator. So now their children think I don't have to listen. I call my daddy, I call my uncle, I call my brother. But when they was giving SWATs, it was act right in school, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. We used to have a vice principal named Mr. Christian. Yeah. He had a big old long paddle with holes in it, and he would put his name. He would write your name on that paddle, and if he found your name on that paddle, that determined how many extra SWATs you was gonna get.
Yeah. And in my junior high school, Mr. Freeman would wait till school was getting out and have you been over that pole when everybody's walking by you and give you your SWATs. Not only did he added corporal punishment to deter you from doing what you were doing. And people don't realize that. So it's a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? You're not a DV ran amok when they introduced Grand Theft Auto to 7-year-olds.
You know what's crazy though, man? Here's the thing, right? The police will arrest you as a parent for disciplining your child, right? But them same police will turn around and kill your child.
Yes.
But they arrest you for disciplining, but they'll kill your child because your child had a cell phone or your child was not cooperating. They're blaming on a lot of stuff, man, which is a messed up system. Because here's the thing: if they allow these parents to discipline their children, we wouldn't be out this far at this day and time. We would have a little more stability in our community. But the same police that will arrest you for disciplining your child will kill your child, which is crazy to me.
This is one even better. You will be fined if your child ditches school too much, but you at work 12 hours a day. Then, when you can't pay your fine, you will be incarcerated and lose your job. Then when you lose your job and you're evicted, they're going to come take your child because you can't take care of your child. Ain't that something? Thank Kamala Harris. But ain't that something? And I usually don't get political. Yeah. That's what she did. So, so it's like, I'm old school.
That's right, DJ Vegas.
I tell mine, I'll beat your ass, my grandchildren. And they look at their mom and daddies like, is he serious? And their moms and daddies turn their head like, we're going to let the old man do what the old man going to do. Run and tell that. You know, so it's a lot of things that people don't disagree with, but it's like even as with us on social media, Mel, it's always, as they say, troll, but I call them Stevens now. They're always looking for something to tear down on something that you can have 99 people not necessarily agree as in yes men, but say, you know, that makes sense. Then you have that number 100 who say something completely negative and off the wall. And you wonder, like, where's this coming from? Like a person told me when I did the commentary on Steven, well, you did this, that, and another into the community for decades. So that makes you a Steven too, and you can't come with the illogical of you're not a Steven. And so I said, if you really listen to the video, I told Steven, you're a forgiving culture. And you can come back home. Just earn it. And I
Right.
what I do with a lot of social media an audience, you know, I go into the trenches and pass out clothing to homeless people. I go right into the gutter. I work with the homeless people.
You're right, Shy. It's all an attempt to disrupt the family, especially in the black family. You're right, Shy. You absolutely correct on that one. That's what it is.
Yeah, so people don't get it that I'm atoning for the damage I did to our community with something positive. I just have to go in on media because it does, with the exception of you and I, on a basis, and I must incorporate Seti Nash, we don't have many people on social media, you know, that go in hard on the alliances that are being developed on social media. Literally,
you know, I was looking at some stuff today, right? And it had to do with WAC 100, but I wasn't gonna put that up. You know what I mean? I don't know what, you know. I know WAC does what he does, and the young lady that he's into it with, I don't know. You know what I mean? But it just, at what point do you draw the line, bro? I'm sure you've seen it. You know what I mean?
And this is what I'll say on that. It's what I often tell people, and I tell the gay community this, I tell the LBG, whatever, all the letters this. What you do in your bedroom is between you, your partner, and your creator. It's not going to affect me, and it's not going to affect me going to work. It's not going to affect me dealing with my family. And so what do I give a fat rear end of a rat's about what you doing in your bedroom?
Right.
Because people do more freaky, crazy stuff in their bedroom than I know about. There's some people right now in bed with a cow.
Was it right for that young lady to expose that in the internet? You know what I mean? I mean, our feelings was hurt, I'm sure, but was that right to do that?
Correct me if I'm saying this wrong. Hell does not know the wrath and fury of a woman.
Yeah.
There it is there.
Yeah. I want to also touch on Crip Mac, because I've talked to Crip Mac a couple of times out the week. He calls me from he's up there in Supermax in Wayside, right? And we could be talking on the phone and somebody could come in. He always tell me every Wednesday they bring in new people, and sometimes, you know, that's when they realize, you know, either you're gonna be taking a fade that day or Thursday, because somebody just got to the floor that's opposite of you, you know. And I guess Jap 5 had met up with him, but I want to hear what ODM Slim had to say, and then I'll give you my opinion about it.
Okay.
C-Mac fought Jap. Jap won. All the way clean. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, C-Mac beat Jap up. It's a lie. No, he did not beat Jap up. Crip gang, he did not beat Jap up. I'm going to break it down to you. I'm going to set my bad. He pinged him and put a pin up to the top. Dead homies. I'm like, no, he did not beat up Jap on Crip. I ain't finna come lying. Like, oh, yeah, he did snap, but when people see this, what people understand, people say partial to shit that happened. You know what I'm saying? They go, they not gonna tell you that after they squabbled and all that, you know what I'm saying, that they had a conversation, a long conversation. Tell them, oh yeah, he just said, you can fight Jap, you can fight. Man, come on, bro. People gonna put the hype on it, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Period. Shout out both of them niggas, you know what I'm saying? Because both niggas grown ass men. First what he did was Now, when Jab talking, I can hear Jab talking like this. Because C-Mac told me what happened. He said, nigga, they went in there. They got a ring of their yard. They finally put Jab to where they can get each other. They, you know what I'm saying? They at level they can go squabble up. Now, they're not going to say that, oh, C-Mac fought 5 other, you know what I'm saying, 5 other people before Jab, you know what I'm saying, and squabbled. Nah, they're going to say that. They're not going to say, oh, this, and this happened. Nah, they're not going to say that. C-Mac was in there squabbling and squabbling since the jump. All they going to talk about is nigga fake said he got rolled up and then Jap beat him up. But C-Mac fought a lot of more people than Jap. I'm rolling. Let's keep it real. Like, now they both, now get me wrong. So as C-Mac telling the story, he telling me like, what happened, bro? I was on live. I talked to y'all. I even said like, yeah, C-Mac and Jap squabbled. I told y'all that. People came back later on and started, oh yeah, they called me and said this, listen. I just talked about it. Yeah, you got hands. Cut that squabble, bro. Listen, even before C-Mac told, right? Everybody lose fights, exactly. But that's the thing is, what's so crazy is, it's the top of the town that he lost the fight.
One thing you and I both know about Crip Mac, he's not afraid. He will fight, and he will face the consequences of the tattoo that's on his forehead. Yes. Now, you and I both have had discussions with him, and he said emphatically that he wasn't removing that tattoo. That's just what he said. He said, and he's told me this on the phone as a reason. He said, if they put me in the hospital, he like, so what? I mean, you know, I don't know what to say to that young man to help him change his mind. He seemed to have his mind made up about how he want to present his cripping and how he want to represent it, you know. But the thing about it is that people on the outside is speaking on it like they was there.
Yeah.
You know. And I know Crip Mac talks to ODM Slim, he talks to me, he talks to Rennie Logan, he talks to a few people. So we have a very good Crip Mac version. We have a relatable that we can relate to, and I don't get into, you know, and I just want Crip Mac to get through what he got to get through and get back to what he used to doing and being funny and giving out pizzas and $100 bills. I want that Crip Mac back. You know what I mean? And maybe at some point he will remove that tattoo. But what's your thoughts on it, Bry?
My thoughts are this, man. First off, how many dudes on social media will go to their neighborhood to get their issue if they're in that age bracket where their homeboys felt that they had a DP?
That's facts.
Okay. How many dudes on social media will go to that county jail and won't opt out on, well, you're on social media a lot, we can put you in protective custody? And have a smooth ride, and then lie and say, well, the police just slammed me there. He said, nah, I'm going to the main line. So how many dudes on social media will say what I said 1,000 times? Man, I'd have been bum rushed. I can't fight worth shit, but I bust that pistol and pick up that knife. And when I was in that lifestyle, I was the guy that people said, you whooped who? Oh, man, you know he finna come through. So it's not a matter of winning or losing the fight. You know what I'm saying? It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the heart in the dog. And if that man had 5 fights.
Oh, he had another phone call, yeah. There you go. You keep getting phone calls, You keep getting phone calls. Can't hear you.
The mic is muted. Okay, I know. So I know I should turn my other phone on. But the thing is, all I'm just saying is, I'm gonna share a quick story. I had lost my mind one year, right? I think I lost my mind. I stole on an outstanding fighter. I stole on him, right? And he basically, blah, 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 blah. Are you through? I'm like, yep. And a lot of dudes, though, this is when I was like 22 or some shit like that. I don't know what possessed me to fire on dude. I didn't have my Wheaties that morning, and they showed when they helped anyway. This dude is a fucking beast with his hands, right? So, but it was no big thing the next day. Homies was clowning like, he gave you a shiner.
Shout out to Marcus 11-8.
So what's up, home team? But you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
So when a person can sit up here and say, "Well, I lost a fight," like I spoke on social media the other day, the first time I knocked somebody out, it was totally amazing to me. I knocked somebody out.
Why was it amazing?
It was effing amazing to me that I actually knocked someone out. You know, so all I can say about Crip Mac is he ain't ducking. See, I can tell you a story about Nate Dogg brother from Insane. We were in Superfield. It was almost 7 Compton Crips up there in 1990. He was the only Insane, and they were going at it with other guys. He had something like 15 fights and lost every last one of them, but he didn't duck. He didn't get knocked out. He just, he was like me, can't fight worth the shit. And so us 50 Compton Crips stepped to them dudes and said, enough is enough. He ain't turning down nothing. He just didn't have no squabbles. That's all. He didn't fight like no child or nothing. He just didn't have no squabbles, and he was just as skinny as me. This is Nate Dogg, the rapper, one of his brothers. Rest in peace. But he didn't turn down nothing. So he might have fought like a Chihuahua, but he had the heart of a Caucasian mountain dog. You dig what I'm saying? So Mac lost a fight. And because some of them dudes are speaking on how he lost a fight, how would you handle LA County Jail when a dude walk up to you like, where you from, homie? Oh, I need to get that up off you. And then my homeboy need to get up off you after me, and my other homeboy need to get up off you, and my other homeboy. Would you say, okay, line it up? I'll fight all y'all one by one. So I ain't got no but accolades for him in what he's embracing of our former lifestyle, because he's upholding it to the standard of, I represent 5'5", I'm a neighborhood, I'm not ducking nothing, and if I get mopped, oh well, let me recuperate and we can get out again if that's what you want to do. So
is that the mindset of young people? Is that what they do? You know what I mean? When they go to these county jails, they looking for other people.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, what I learned, because unfortunately, as you know, I did all the time, I had to go back to LA County Jail for some other things while I was in the Fed. And dudes, where you from, man? And they tell them, they said they were from a rival. They'd give them what was called a pill card. They say, in the morning, come out today with a pill card. I got to get that up off you. Then afterwards, they're cordial with each other. It's just a thing of they showing their neighborhood that I saw one of my rivals. I did what I had to do. Job over with. This is what we signed up for. So really, it's back to old school. We prefer for them to be fighting each other than stabbing each other up.
Yeah.
So, and then another thing, I would rather if I was a young man, have a rival that I had a fight with. And so then if something happens between cultures, at least I know he'll squabble.
Yeah.
Standing next to me when we getting down, then that dude who turned down that fade. So, hey. And it's showing other cultures, they might say they're crazy, but they say they fight. So, you can look at it in a variety of ways, man. But like I said, man, when you check out Urban Realness, my channel, man, I always try to give a message, man, in between the lines. So you people out there in that audience, learn to decipher what I'm saying. I have an unorthodox way of delivering my message. So you have to use your head for something other than a hat rack. You have to listen and not just hear what I'm saying.
Shout out to Rennie Loke in the chat.
Rennie, I love you with your crazy self. And I'm going to have to cut out, Mel, but I'm going to cut out on this note.
Okay.
The only messed up thing about getting older is not getting old. If you have a problem with people getting older, then I guess you want to be in a box before you're 30 years old. I guess if you have a child that's 3 to 7 years old, you don't want to see them turn 37 to 57.
Shout out to Big Devil.
Dad, what it up? What it do? Polk Street Finest. So I end on that note, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I say. It's the hub of the dub with neighborhood love. And what I mean by that, you people that don't understand that, my mother's from Watts, my father's from Compton. It's the hub of the dub.
Shout out to the band.
And the neighborhood love is I admire what Nipsey put down on doing something for the community. What's up, OG Bam? Is, So that's why I'm always saying it's the hub and the dub with neighborhood love. Moms is from Watts, pops is from neighborhood love. What Nip did, we need to try to emulate what he put down in the community. 2 of them, Compton, California, as in 2 C's, baby.
The marathon continue. That's what's up, man. I appreciate you coming in, man. So we'll reconvene. We'll chop it up, man, and we'll continue to try to sort this stuff out, man, because we got to continue to try, at least make sense out of nonsense.
Yes, sir.
So with that, man, tell them where they can find you, man.
Urban Realness, man. Hashtag Urban Realness. URBANREALN. That's Urban Realness. You know how they say, like, subscribe, share, and notification button. And always support the motherfucking me good postman who delivered that mail like it's the 1st and 15th. And that mail is knowledge for the mind.
Exactly.
2 of them, baby. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation. Shout out to the Mailroom Goons.
Perfect grind all the time, baby.
Yeah. Cali Finest, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga. Streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products to the fans get me. It's guap off top. Diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch the time of day. They see me climbing. They see me shining. That's hard work. Proof of grinding. New money got me tipping in that 550. Ali, bad man, and I'm so pretty. I got that tech with me. That's my hater sprayer. Go big, grind now, nigga, play later. What can I say? I'm addicted to this paper stacking. And I don't talk about it. I just make it happen. Word on the block is that my shit go. Freaks for the low.
Shout out to the Mailroom Nation. Shout out to the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mel. Shout out to Big Dib, Big Demon, The Bam, Marlena Williams, Postmaster General, Kansas City, Michelle, Young Compton, OG Bam, of course, again, man, and Marcus 11-8, man, Demon, Devon Cutmore, and everybody that joined us today on this panel. Rennie Loken, Rennie Loken. Okay, and King Mike. I ain't going through all that other stuff with you, Mike. You keep changing your name. Rodney Scott. Shout out to you, DJ Vegas, of course. Man, and everybody else that joined us, man. We'll be back for Friday. Foolishness Friday. Can't wait. Don't miss it. Shout out. Marlena Williams, go ahead and lock the door because we are gone.